April 9, 2024. This is the S&P 500 E-futures mini on the 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. This is how I saw the charts today. It looked like in the pre-market it looked like it was going to be, I thought it was actually going to rally, but it stalled out here and then it came back down. And when it kind of stalled here, I saw one leg down. I was thinking there was going to be another leg, but potentially a bounce, and it might have been in a trading range. Turned out it was a pretty strong sell-off with pretty much three legs down, consolidation, and then maybe two legs up, another consolidation, and then two big legs up. So there was no economic data to really motivate or move the markets to watch out for, I guess. And I didn't take I didn't get any trades. There were two trades that I tried to jump in on, but I missed them because I think I was too optimistic, or not optimistic, but too conservative. I put my limit orders a little bit too far from where the fill would have been. So I'm going to go through the trades now. So in the pre-market, as I said, it looked like it was ranging, and it made one big leg up, consolidation, and it kind of consolidated here before the open. But I was thinking we were probably going to see a rally day, but I drew the pre-market highs and the pre-market lows here. So the market opens, it starts chopping around, it hits this trading range, and now I'm thinking, okay, actually we might be in a larger pre-market high, pre-market low trading range. So when I saw this many candles forming, I didn't think necessarily we're going to rally anymore. There's a failed breakout here. Prices then move down on this green channel, kind of spikes back up. Here I saw a new low here, first entry short, potential second entry short. I also saw this as a new high, and you actually get a first entry long here, and then a second entry long here. Now this setup is a little far away, but I did see potentially two key entry points. I had a trend line drawn. It didn't turn into this big red channel until later, but I did see this down channel or this down trend line here, and potentially a uh, third key entry point if it's a third touch of this potential downtrend. The thing about the trying to go short here is this is above the EMA, and the signal bar is kind of bullish. Then when it flashes down, I think the entry would have been after this signal bar closed. Actually, not signal bar, excuse me, after this trigger bar closed. So it looks like it's pushing down. What did give me a little hesitation was it met and made the same low. So I'm wondering if EMA, although it's flattening, is going to hold, and I might get another push up. So I could make a case for potentially maybe it reversing. It's like first entry long, potentially a second entry long here, even though it's technically first entry long, second entry long. But this is kind of a new swing high. The first entry short, second entry short, this wasn't a good signal bar, but I'm thinking it's coming from a failed breakout of this pre-market range that it's pushing one down with maybe one attempt, two attempt, and then it could be pushing down. It's a possible trade. I was a little confused in the read, so I left it alone. But I think if I wanted to enter the trade, I'd wait till this candle closed and probably put it maybe at the same equal lows as these two candles, and I wanted to see a break below before I actually dropped in my order. It looked like that would have happened because you would have opened here, it would have flashed, picked me up, and then continue downwards. It starts moving down on this yellow channel. It breaks out of the yellow channel and makes a new low. So I'm thinking the downtrend may have played out. It kind of bounces around. You do have a new low here. First entry short, second entry short. I wished this had pushed up higher to at least met the same resistance here. Then I could count it as a triple test. And ideally, the EMA would have also come down, and I'd have not only a rejection off the top of the trading range, but also rejection off the EMA. And this would have been a beautiful setup. Fortunately, it doesn't happen, and it just kind of consolidates. It's consolidating, but it's kind of got a bearish bias because you're having more room above it. Comes back up, and now I drew this, or I had more confidence in this red down trend line, and I also drew at the time as a channel where this dotted midline was, and I extended it down to here much later. You see a new low here. It's a first entry short, pull back, Now, there's technically a second entry short here, but I thought it was also a lower high. So when you're in a trading range, you're playing range rules, so you're not necessarily looking for second entry shorts, but there is a second entry short here. The signal bar isn't good, but I liked it better as a lower high because it has this confirmation of this red down channel now. So try to break out. Well, here it doesn't really try to break out. It just kind of starts up here. And I try to break out, depending on how you counted it, once or twice, but I saw it at least once, at least twice, and this is a third time. So actually it's the fourth time, fourth touch confirmation. I like when it pushed down below this bad signal bar, but it's very strong. It kind of made a double top and pushed down below. So I think this is a possible trade here. Unfortunately, I didn't take it. Also, there is just enough room to do a quick scalp from here before you reach the localized bottom, whether the trading range is actually here or down here. So it was maybe a worthwhile trade to take. Prices, I mean, look at this big move. It would have been fantastic, even with a runner. Fortunately, I missed that trade because I hesitated. There's a new low here. It's a first entry short, pullback. This is a potential second entry short. Now, after the break of this green down channel, it made two legs up, one leg up, pullback, second leg up. EMA is starting to show as some kind of resistance here. And so I'm thinking there's a pretty good trade here. I wanted to confirm that was a true first entry short, second entry short. So I needed this next candle to break below this one as well as break ideally below the EMA. So I wanted to wait for confirmation. It flashed down. And actually, when this flashed down and it closed, I didn't take the trade yet because I didn't want to take it on the engulfing because I've seen this kind of, I've seen situations where it's on the life of this candle, it actually kind of floats around and pushes up again. So what I thought was, I waited for this candle to close. And I said, this is where I want to enter. I want to enter one tick below this original signal bar. So I put my order here and it opens down here and oscillates. So now I pretty much missed the trade. And then it creates these three other pretty small body candles before it flushes further. So if I were more, and I think I should have been more aggressive, after the close of this candle, I have a confirmed second entry short. I probably should have just put it at the low of this candle, not necessarily one tick below, but at the low, because there is enough room to scalp out. Had I done that, I would have gotten filled here. I have to wait through these three candles and then probably got the fill here. So this is a missed trade. I did try to enter and it never got filled. It kind of moves down on this yellow down channel. And so when I saw this break of this dotted line used to be where my original red channel was, I extended it down here and it actually looked like it fit pretty well. One touch, two touch, three touch, four, depending I did the count. One touch, two touch, three touch. So I'm thinking prices are in at least this two-tiered red down channel. But then it starts breaking out. So I was thinking there's an overlapping potential purple channel. It's very strong. It's not even coming back to the EMA. I couldn't find a clean entry that I felt comfortable with. Pushes up on this yellow one. Again, the EMA is holding prices down. It was a small violation here, but it pushes back down. But I didn't see a second entry or a good clean setup. So unfortunately, I had to sit and watch this kind of move without me. It kind of bottoms out here. There is a new high. It's a first entry long. Technically, you have a second entry long here. But when you see so many candles, it's struggling to move up as well as struggling to move down. So when it's struggling to move down, I'm not thinking of going short necessarily anymore because it had moved down on this big red channel, had an overshoot. It's now struggling to push past this support. But I'm not necessarily thinking of going long either because the EMA is still holding prices down. So prices are still respecting the EMA at this point. So I'm not thinking of going long either. And when it starts to break up here, this one didn't break through the EMA. So even though it's a first entry long, second entry long, I don't feel there's a trade here. You get kind of a lower high here, but here when you see this lower high, I'm not thinking of going long yet because this is a doji candle. And it flushes down. I'm watching carefully if this is going to hold again. And it kind of pushes down and it breaks through. So it creates this kind of like this visual, well, not visual, but triple test here. It's a first entry long, potential second entry long, and there is a like triple test or quadruple test. One, two, three, four times now that this bottom support has held. But what made me think it's a possible trade is it's a rather small risk. I mean, it is a 2 point candle, but it looked like it might push back up. What gave me a little bit of pause was I'm kind of counter trend trading. I am picking the bottom, but the bottom looks like it is starting to hold some weight. But this could be the bottom because it is having trouble. Sellers are having trouble pushing it down. But I thought there might be a potential trade here. You have two key entry points going for you. Then, if I did enter or if I did wait for this candle to open and close, I'd be very nervous now because this is an indecision candle and it pushes down. So definitely, I think I would have skipped the trade, but it is a potential trade if you're really aggressive and you trusted the read. There's a first entry long, second entry long, potentially technically a higher low here. This is kind of like a ugly higher low because it's a red candle and it is very, very close to the bottom. Nothing says it couldn't push back down. EMA is still holding prices down, or at least prices are respecting the resistance of the EMA. Of course, then it moves up. I'm not on that trade, but that's okay. Even though I thought this could have been a possible trade, I'm okay skipping this one. Then prices continue moving up, creates one leg up. I'm thinking it's going to be another measured move here. And I'm curious if this resistance of this red down channel is going to hold. It kind of holds, it pushes back. It looks like it's coming back down. I like what I saw as this is resistance, so I'm looking for an opportunity to go short. I see this is a new high, it's the first entry long, pullback, potential second entry long. So I actually thought, okay, there is a potential to go short here, but then it's also moving up, made a measured move, but it fell short of the measured move. It came down on this green channel, and it's bouncing off the EMA. So previously, EMA acted as resistance. Now it's acting as potential support. I'm thinking actually with this purple up channel, I don't trust it completely, but it could be a visual first entry long pullback, second entry long. When I saw this candle close, I thought, okay, there is a potential trade here, at least to push back up to the other side. So I was thinking, okay, well, I want to enter with a lot of safety. So I want to enter pretty much at the high of this previous candle because it's bouncing off the purple, bouncing off the EMA, and it's a break of this green channel. It kind of made one attempt down, and now it's pushing up. I'm thinking there might be enough momentum to go up again. So I put my order at the highs here. And of course, I'm too conservative and left without me. That's okay. I just didn't feel super safe taking it, so high up because this is a 4 point candle, whereas this is more of a 2 point candle. So although I missed this trade, I'm okay missing it because it just wasn't the most optimal setup for me to feel safe chasing it and moving it up even higher. So this is the second trade I attempted, but I missed it. Prices move up. It's a new high. It's the first entry long, second entry long. This isn't the best signal bar, but the trigger bar is pretty nice that it engulfed the bad signal bar and pushed up because not only did it break one tick below, it flashed up, engulfed it, and closed high. So, it's also confirming this purple up channel. So it went from the lows to the highs, pushed back, and tested the highs again, tested the lows, tested the highs. Could be one attempt up, second attempt up, bad signal bar, but potentially a potential trade here. And looked like if I took that trade, let's see, if I took it where I usually like to take it, which is one at the highs of the previous signal bar, looks like I would have gotten filled here and probably gotten a scalp out here. If I took it at the close or the high of this one, felt pretty risky. It looks like I would have potentially squeaked out a 1 point scalp, but it definitely quite dicey. Had easily could have been stopped out. But then prices are moving down. I don't have this larger yellow channel drawn just yet. I did think there is a potential trend line here as a resistance. And when it touched this third time, I redrew the channel to have it one touch, two touch, three touch, and it looked like it fit pretty well up here. So I'm thinking this downtrend has started to play out and it's starting to reverse back up. It made one measure move, second measure move up here. And then I'm thinking there might be a bigger leg here, one leg up, pull back, and a potential second leg up. Bounces up, I don't see any particularly clean setup yet. It's kind of falling inside this big yellow channel, but inside this big yellow channel, I thought there was like another sub-orange channel, but I don't trust it as much because there's a new high here, first entry long, potential second entry long. I don't like that the second entry long is an inside bar, but it looked like I guess it could have worked, but it's just not a very clean setup. The only thing going for it other than second entry long is it's bouncing off the EMA. Kind of depending on how much respect or how much you trust this orange channel, it could be at the low of this orange channel. So it could be another key entry point. I wasn't too confident in it, so just wanted more confirmation to confirm that this is a orange up channel. And you kind of don't get that. Then you get a consolidation here, breaks out below, and it just kind of pushes past below the orange channel. So maybe there was some kind of channel here in play. This one was an iffy trade. I just didn't think it was a possible trade. It moves down on this green channel, consolidates, pushes back up. Technically, I counted this as a localized new low. It's a first entry short, pull back, second entry short, it's bad signal bar. This is just like hard for me to read because these candles are just completely solid bodies, but they're opposites. So it's like indecision. It sold off strongly, opened, bought it all the way back up. So here you're wondering what the heck is going on. Then it gives you one of these and it flashes up. So this, I don't see how there's a potential trade here. Plus the EMA isn't giving any help at all because it's cutting right through these candles. It kind of oscillates. It's a new high here, first entry long, second entry long, but it's just pretty flat right now. So it's hard for me to trust second entries. Moves down. I'm thinking it's in this larger blue trading range, but I want to see it come back down here. And this is just kind of an area that I don't want to be trading in because these candles are just like piano keys, just side by side. I see a potential fail breakout of this blue channel. Kind of goes back in. Unfortunately, there was no setup. You do have a higher low here, but it just doesn't feel safe in my opinion. It is moving back into the trading range. It went from the lows to the highs, fell short, broke out, failed breakout here, came back down, confirmed the support, went to the highs twice, came back and failed breakout here now. So I want to see not just a higher low. I want to see ideally kind of a cleaner setup. But technically, you have a new low here, first entry short, second entry short of this up channel. But this price action is just a little too ambiguous for me. Because you have a doji here, another doji, and then this really strong candle. But it just looks. I'm just not experienced enough to feel confident in what I'm looking at here. Of course, if you did take this entry here, I guess you could have gotten a clean scalp here, but this just looks wild. Comes down and it looks like it's consolidating on this lower support outside the original larger trading range that I was looking at. Technically, you have a new high here, first entry long pullback. You have a second entry long here, but when you see this candle, you're not thinking long just yet. You could see a triple test and maybe think of long, but then when this next candle confirms the second entry long, it closes with this big tail, so that's not very encouraging. And again, this other candle also isn't encouraging because what it's telling you is it opens down here, it does a bunch of things, and sellers were able to push it all the way back to the halfway point. Not only does it do it once, it does it a second time, even though this one opened up higher. So it feels a little sketchy. Plus it's making lower highs every time. So it looks like it's losing steam. And then this is just very spindly. It gets kind of confusing. Breaks out below. It starts moving back up on this big green channel. This is a very, very strong push up. Unfortunately, I didn't find a good entry. No clean second entries, and you just kind of have to watch this kind of move without you. And then it kind of reverses again, and I don't see a very good clean second entry. Technically, I have a second entry right here. It's an inside bar, inside candle. The first entry long pullback, potentially a second entry. You do have an overshoot here, so you could expect it to push back over, but the EMA is starting to push back down. Plus, I'm potentially running into the pre-market lows. which at this point, I don't really think it's a really strong resistance because it only drew it off this line here, and for the whole day, it didn't really respect it. So why would it respect it at this point? But it is there, and I'm aware of it. Kind of chops around, moves into this trading range, and kind of moves into the close. So all in all, it wasn't the there were a few setups, a couple setups that unfortunately I missed out on, which were this one and this one. This one was the better trade. And then there's these other possible trades, but I felt they were a little more aggressive than what I would have liked. And unfortunately, this is probably the trade of the day. If you had gotten this lower high, this would have been probably a major day or your week. And then if I had gotten in on this trade, it also would have been a pretty nice trade to have been able to potentially write this down to about here. Oh, unfortunately, it was uneventful, no trades. Hopefully, this is helpful.